What's the street?
Butthead Street.
Cut the cameras.
Keep them closed. I'm being so serious.
Cut the fucking cameras. Cut the fucking cameras.
We locked the door so you can't escape.
What? What?
Keep them closed.
What is it?
man.
What is it?
Keep
What
them
is it?
closed.
What is it? What is it? What is it?
Don't
What
worry
is
about
it? No, please don't let it be a bug.
Okay, turn around.
Ah! Oh my god! What the fuck? Oh my god. Do I have one? Oh.
Hi.
Wait, hold on. Thumbnail.
Would you be Dream or would you be... Oh, George.
I think we all know I would be George.
Really?
I think so. I think that our audience would way, like, simp. Like, you're more mysterious and, like,
For real.
yeah. And I'm more just, like...
Super mysterious right now. I think my eyes are crooked.
They definitely are uneven, for sure. Because, like, one of them lands up here and one of them lands on here. And also one of them is bigger. But imperfections are what make us who we are.
That's what the part of the mask is.
Yeah.
What the point of the mask is. Sorry.
That's what the mask is. That's what the point of the mask is.
We're coming out.
Guys, we're coming out. It's time to be honest with you all. We've kept this from you for a little bit,
Mhm.
and I think it's time that we take this step and
I'm
admit. Okay, well, I thought we were gonna say it together.
I just wasn't ready to share it until now.
Like, the guy that's been claiming to be Dream
Isn't Dream.
is not Dream. We actually hired him
Mm-hmm.
to pretend to be Dream, to hide the fact that
I'm
this is
Dream.
in fact Dream. But whenever it comes to the speed runs, I take control. Because we all know who's better at
No.
Minecraft here.
No, that's not true. That part's not true.
Well, that's not even the real mask. That one's paper.
It's because I didn't want to... Because I knew you would steal it.
No, because you know I have it. Because it's mine.
Why do you have my mask?
Okay. Listen. Point is,
That's what the point of the mask is.
that's what the point of the mask is. Okay. We don't need to talk about this right now. Let's just get past this video. Just get through it.
She's mad I've been making all the money.
Right.
You like snapped up.
See, something about me is I can kind of.
Dream babes.
Where's Patches then? Yeah. Where's Patches?
I Dream. Go on record.
You can't even go on record to say that. It's not true.
Don't spread that rumor around. Happy wouldn't let me touch her. Ever.
I can't actually.
Okay, we actually do need to come out though.
We're extreme S&B fans. We're really into it. But listen, okay, we were into it like OG into it, like before.
I think that's worse.
Oh yeah, but like we were into it before the fan base started growing and got really big and weird. That's whenever we left it.
Sure.
It's true. We were there whenever they were first building the first community house.
I hate that you know that. I hate that you remember that. No, we were there and we did.
We did participate in some activities that other fan bases also participate in, such as reading.
Yeah, some of y'all.
Certain-
Oh, I know all y'all do it.
Yeah.
Y'all just don't share.
Like, y'all just hide it. Y'all lie. We don't lie here.
Mm-mm.
We're honest. And we're coming out and saying we used to read fan fiction.
Yeah. But to be more specific,
There's a specific... Now, if you were in this fandom, there was a specific fan fiction that was associated with a popular song called Heat
Heat
Waves.
it's actually like AA meetings. Like, hi, my name's Kianna, and I used to read fanfic.
Hi, my name's Savannah, and I used to read fanfic. But more specifically,
George Not Found.
of George Not Found and Dream. I'm sorry!
I'm a survivor. It was low-key good.
It was, and y'all are gonna see that it's good. But here's what I wanted to ask you earlier that I waited until we were on camera.
Mhm.
Did you read the one where the monster can won? Y'all who were in that fan base know what I'm talking about. The monster can.
What?
Bro, there was one where it feels wrong that I'm even saying their
I
names.
know.
Like,
I need to
don't
keep
wanna
this a
do it.
secret. We'll bleep it out.
There was one. You're not gonna bleep shit out.
Mm-mm.
Not this, at least.
This whole video is gonna be bleeped then. Like,
There was one where it was Sapnap and Carl, and
I never got that far. I never did all that.
I only like read it because I heard about it and I was like, this can't be fucking real. So I read it, and I never read Wattpad. I only ever read AO3, but this one was on Wattpad, and a monster can was involved, and it was being inserted into Carl Jacobs.
But what the hell?
What? I'm so dead ass. I'm so dead ass right now. I went to the fanfic just to see if that part was real, because I was like, this can't be fucking real.
That was the whole
this.
plot?
Bro, no, it was like them together, and like that's one part of it.
Oh.
It was so gross and weird, and I literally was like, this is scaring me.
Why the monster?
Because he like really liked Monster. Of course. I mean, come on. It was like 2020, 2021.
Alright.
So yeah.
Who took it?
Who took the monster can? Carl.
Oh, duh.
Who inserted it? Sapnap. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
And then that one, Flowers from 19...
You really like that one? I never read it.
I did really like that one because it was sad. So it was like low-key like, damn.
Damn, someone else has it tough. No, I only read Heat Waves. So I wasn't too big of a fan. But y'all got me hooked.
Those are the 3 that I read, but I didn't even read the Monster Can one. I just read that one part of it, but I still count it. So, yeah.
Alright. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna read it for you.
We're gonna read Heat Waves, that way y'all can say that you didn't read it, but you still did low-key.
You low-key supported it.
Yeah.
Because nobody's... I tried to go looking for it, because I remember it used to be on AO3.
Yeah. It's not on there anymore.
It's not on there.
I looked whenever we planned this.
Right.
I looked. But, like, it's not on there anymore, so...
So I had to get down and dirty. I started going on Reddit. Yeah.
Oh my god, did you find it? The
Yeah.
whole thing?
I'm pretty sure. It's on Wattpad now.
Bro.
So I had to...
Get it off. Boy, you had to look up how to draw a smiley face.
Because I didn't know if it was, like, gonna be too big. The eyes are far apart. Duh. Duh. I wish we had the goggles for you.
Bro, I should have brought goggles. I have, like, my Silver Always City ones I should have brought.
Wait, what are they?
Wait, cloud
I
goggles.
wish I had a green
They were
hoodie.
Cloud goggles.
I
Oh!
put on a jacket. So we had an idea. This has been years in the making, by the way. This is like low-key our dream.
And this is my dream.
So, not on AO3.
It's on Wattpad.
So
I
I
can't
had...
talk in a British accent the whole time, y'all.
No, you can just do it when we're doing it. So I had to find it on... If you guys want to... No, take it down.
If you guys can read that,
Yeah, if you guys want to have it, just go to this person. We'll actually link it below. Right?
yeah, we'll link it below. We'll
You
link it in the
guys wanna read it?
description. This is like, there's so much space over here. It's
Well, shit. It's because you're big butt. Get it.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Anyways, shall we start?
So, I guess, like, the writer took it down. Girl, profit off that. The fuck?
Yeah, the fuck? That was a popular ass. That was the most popular
It
fan
broke
fiction.
AO3 for a hot minute.
Yeah, now to this day, every time we hear Heat Waves, we think of it.
And we do listen to Heat Waves quite a bit. I actually don't remember how long it is.
Oh, I don't either.
And I don't know if there's any... Goddamn. Do you want to read it first?
Pretty long. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I'm nervous. Okay.
A gentle glow from the computer screen washes over the dark desk, colors flickering in rapid motion. The monitor whirs in self-defense of the growing heat. The ceiling fan lays mockingly silent in the stifling air. Reclined in his seat, Dream's head is tilted back to watch the wooden slats for the slightest tremor. Betrayal. Beads of sweat collect near his hairline. He tugs absently on the sticky plastic of his headphones, where they rest around his neck. The small light on the exterior blinks green. Dream? He hears George say faintly. Wait, did he leave? Savannahnot asks. It says he's on call still. George's voice slowly grows closer. Dream begins to detach his eyes from the fan. Dream? The concern in his voice makes Dream sit up. He pushes his headphones back on and wipes his face.
Yes, hello, sorry. I zoned out for a sec.
He blinks to register what's on his screen, seeing green grass blocks and Savannahnot's avatar crouching in front of him.
Shoot, did you end the stream?
He quickly tabs out just in time to see George laugh.
That scared me.
That's how he used to laugh. No, but I'm about to. Couldn't end it without you saying bye, George says. The small considerate act is enough to bloom a warmth in Dream's chest. He smiles.
Alright. Bye, stream.
Bye! Savannahnot yells. George waves to the camera. Bye, you guys. Thank you so much. Also, pray for Dream's air conditioning.
And my broken fan.
Dream adds. Bye-bye, George repeats.
Damn, he said bye like 4 times.
Then disappears from Dream's view. The stream is ended. A familiar feeling creeps into Dream's chest whenever that message appears post-stream. Disappointment clouded with confusion. Today, it is accompanied by trickles of regret. He frowns.
Sorry, I spent so much of your stream complaining about the weather.
He says, clicking back to the server. Savannahnot has placed an oak sign before him that reads, Wee wad, Dream can take the heat. He rolls his eyes and breaks it. It's fine, really. I just feel bad for you, George says. His avatar bounds over and starts placing doors on the ground. Any idea when it'll be fixed?
Soon, I hope.
Dream answers with a huff, opening and closing the doors to appease George.
I don't think I can take much more of this.
They'd been playing for the past 3 hours, meaning Dream had been accumulating enough sweat in his boxers to stick to his chair for much longer than any man should. Swass! That's real as fuck. Physical comfort was a key component for him to stay mellow, and not much could distract him from itchy tags and blistering heat. He does have a diagnosis. Not much, that is, besides gaming.
Is this me?
Yeah.
Seeing you was nice, though. Something about your cheerful face distracts me from my agony.
He confesses, words leaving his mouth before he can attempt to filter. He cringes. What was that? Oh my god, shut up, George says. He sounds embarrassed. Savannahnot coos. Maybe I should stream with my camera on, too. Dream laughs, running away from the two of them to ease his sudden spike in nervousness.
That would keep my attention.
Oh yeah? Are my streams not interesting enough for you, Dream? George says, flying after him.
What?
Dream says, feeling a pang of guilt.
What makes you think that? I love your streams.
George continues to act offended. If you loved them, you wouldn't zone out randomly.
I didn't mean to.
Dream whines, which only makes the other two laugh.
I just got distracted by my misery and tried to airbend a breeze in here.
Yeah, right, Savannahnot says. You couldn't have been doing that for 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Dream repeats, bewildered. He didn't feel it had been that long. He was exploring the map and then clicked onto George's stream to see where he was, and of course George was smiling and yelling, but somehow so full of energy and spirit, and the hot air started to seep into Dream's soul. You were AFK for a while, George says. We were still talking to you, though, and thought you muted yourself or something. The chat thought it was embarrassing.
Oh.
Dream says. Hold on. Did you mean to mute yourself? Savannahnot says, laughing as his own words leave his mouth. Little too excited watching George. Both Dream and George explode in disgusted yells. Oh! Good lord, Savannahnot. Savannahnot! George sends a series of hits raining down onto his avatar. You are so inappropriate off-stream.
You're gross,
Dream says with a laugh. But it's feeble and half-hearted. His pulse is rapidly drumming inside his skull. He is not lost to the strange dilemma of why he faded from their call for so long to stare at his Georgeless ceiling. Why did George have anything to do with it? Envy, perhaps, of his friend's ability to be wearing a hoodie in the middle of summer. He brushes it off. Where do I start?
We need to give Savannahnot a voice.
Yeah. I could do deep. Yeah, George. Hey, I could do Southern. Should I do Southern?
No.
He low-key was Southern.
Was he?
Kind of. He was like a little Southern.
Where is he from?
I think like Texas. I don't know.
Okay, you can give him like a funny one, because he's always in someone's business.
Yeah, for real. He's like such third wheel
For
right
real.
now. Okay, did you want me to restart over here? Or no? Or keep going?
I don't know where we are.
We're right here, because...
Oh, yeah. You can go
Okay.
there.
You're cute.
You're
Listen, guys. We're new to this acting job.
You're like dead serious. You're gross.
Dream says with a laugh, but it's feeble and half-hearted. His pulse is rapidly drumming inside his skull. He is not lost to the strange dilemma of why he faded from their call for so long to stare at his Georgeless ceiling. Why did George have anything to do with it? Envy, perhaps, of his friend's ability to be wearing a hoodie in the middle of summer. He brushes it off.
It's true, though. George's face does get me excited.
George groans, making Sapnap and Dream laugh. Now you're just trying to make me uncomfortable.
Flustered, you mean?
Dream inputs quickly. Okay, no, I'm sick of you two, George says, immediately exiting their server. Consider this a rage quit. Roleplaying has left the game. Dream sends a sad face into the chat. No, Georgie! Please.
That's good. You did a great job today.
Dream says wholeheartedly.
I'm gonna rewatch what I missed of it later.
George laughs. I seriously have to go. I'll talk to you soon, he says, a small sound emitting from Discord signifying he's left the call. The feeling returns to Dream's chest. It's... what is this word? Akin to the cold rush that follows when he removes his hands from the steaming coffee mug. Some nights after their friends have logged off for good, he'll do anything to avoid giving in and going to bed. Twitter, mini games, coding, creating playlists. His favorite nights, though, are when George wakes up early enough to keep him company. Their conversations radiate with the warmth of both the Florida night and the English sunrise. So whenever George jokingly becomes angry with him, Dream can't dispel the tiny tremor of worry that maybe he's gone too far. He doesn't like to mull... He doesn't like to mull over the thought of them really fighting. It would terrify him like nothing else. He knows George will call again tomorrow, and that he isn't nearly as upset as he lets on. Yet he still finds himself carefully watching the dot next to George's name switch from green to pale gray.
I think I'm gonna hop off too.
Dream says to Sapnap. Alright, see you! After disconnecting, he swivels around his chair to face his bed. The dark comforter has been kicked to the floor. Sheets askew. Okay,
Nasty.
y'all can be a little more clean?
Y'all are gamers and you really act like it, huh?
Come on. The window above his bed is shut tight to keep the humid air out. To keep out the humid air and insects. But he can see the soft orange streetlights in the distance. He sighs and wishes for rain. He remembers running barefoot on his neighborhood streets as a child when storms would roll in from the sea, splashing in the gravelly puddles and letting the cool raindrops dampen his hair.
You know, just go with whatever. They
That
can't see it.
space was always euphoric. A brief temperance from the smoldering air. Green palm trees swaying in the wind. The hint of thunder and lightning. But it feels so far from him now, especially in this dreadful weather. He turns off his computer and begrudgingly gets into bed. He's nearly grown accustomed to the dark when his phone vibrates, the notification lighting up the room. He squints. A text from George. I feel like this song is a good way for me to get back at you, it reads. Dream clicks on the link, opening his Spotify to a new Glass Animals song. Heat waves.
Oh, you're trying to beat me.
He responds, smiling. Very funny. He'll listen to that in the morning. As he sets his phone back on the nightstand, Dream finds himself warmed by the gesture, even though it was an insult on his behalf. George is George is a thoughtful guy. Nothing wrong with appreciating that.
Weird ass. He's a thoughtful guy. Sing me a song.
Also, that song, literally, like, so gay. So gay, bro.
Like, you could have done any other song with the title Heat in it.
But you fucking had to sing that?
You did the one that they were trying to, like...
Right. He wants that cookie.
Yeah, literally. That big cookie.
He wants that hot dog. With appreciating that, now that Dream finds it unnerving that interacting with George has a direct correlation with his general contentment and moods. In fact, it isn't worth the overthinking. Settled by his own logic, he allows his body to focus on sleep. He slips in and out of the shadows, occasionally tossing and turning in irritation at the cotton sheets. The fabric clings to his dampened skin, up to the moment he sluggishly kicks it away. Something clatters to the floor, but Dream rolls onto his side. Eventually, the night cools enough for him to sink deeper and deeper until he turns his head from his soft, warm pillow to a cold pile of sand. Confused, he grasps at the foundation beneath him, only for the rocky grains.
Hello.
Okay. Can we be serious? Can we be serious?
Sorry.
This is literature.
Real shit.
To slip through his fingers. He sits up rapidly, glancing at the beach dust surrounding him. Wait, how do you teleport?
Where are we at?
Hold on. Although the image is narrow, he can tell there is a murky purple lagoon lapping a few feet before him. Okay, he's very clearly dreaming, right?
1000%.
The moon. Oh yeah, I dreamed about you again last night. I'm beginning to think they're nightmare. Spoiler.
Put a screenshot of all the times we've texted each other.
The moon ripples across its ominous surface. The night is quiet, a taunting breeze brushing the back of his neck and bringing chills down his spine. He looks down at his hands, seeing his bright sleeves pushed halfway up his forearms. Bright green. A sinking feeling begins to rot in his stomach as the familiarity sets in. He's been here before. He shifts his head cautiously, realizing where the shadows at the edge of his vision are coming from, and raises a hand to gently graze the ceramic covering his face. He doesn't need a mirror to know what the mask looks like. I can't. He pulls up his hood, tensing as he anticipates the next subject he'll recognize. At any moment, behind his right shoulder, a voice will call from the edge of the trees that'll say, "Dream?" He freezes. That's not right. It isn't supposed to be.
George?
He asks quietly, turning around with caution. George stands a few feet behind him, goggles perched atop his head, with an axe. Wait, where am I? With an axe in his hand. He's looking around their location, dazed. The starry sky reflects itself on his lenses. He walks across the sand towards Dream slowly. Where are we? Dream considers curling in on himself, but can't help finding the comfort of honesty.
My head, I guess.
He knows from experience that this place values integrity more than anything, facing it head on, so to speak. He just doesn't know why he'd let George in here. It isn't safe. It's pretty, George says, sitting on the sand next to him. Dream's heart aches faintly at his remark. Once, he thought it was pretty too. He can't find the words to tell George that after so many years of frantically slipping on the sand, coughing up lungfuls of the dark water and running from the woods, it has become a thing of nightmares. He stares at George. Can he feel the memories here? So this is... George gestures around with his axe vaguely. Florida. Dream cracks a smile.
Yeah, you finally made it.
He teases softly. George's grin is bright enough to make him look away. It's a lagoon I used to come. Stop! Ah, I'm sorry! I saw George, I thought it was me, okay? George's grin is bright enough to make him look away. You're cute.
It's a lagoon I used to come to as a kid.
You make it sound like that was a lifetimes ago. Might I go Australian? Something foreign and lost weighs on the tension in Dream's features, forgotten behind the ceramic.
Maybe.
He says.
I've had multiple lives here.
George says nothing. He lifts a moon-soaked hand to point at the water. Do you see those? We're gonna shift.
You're always so hairy. We're gonna shift? Oh my god, I'd kill myself.
Dream turns his head and small glowing blobs appear near the shore. Their bright blue color is stark against the darkness as they float idly.
They're moon jellies.
Dream says in disbelief. He's never seen them here before. The curling darkness steals all hint of life besides him. His beating heart and occasional whispers in the wind. George hums in approval. Dream looks at him again, grateful for the mask covering his own features. Pale moonlight makes George's skin glow a soft porcelain, pink lips pressed together in delicate brush strokes. The word bubbles up from the deep in Dream's chest, winding into his bloodstream and landing gracefully in his head. Beautiful.
Did you steal my word? Oh, no.
No. He wants to back away from it, to shove it deep down, but for once it feels safe here, safe to admit it to himself without needing an air of humor to skate by on. Here, it isn't a joke. Why are we here? George asks in a murmur, gaze lifting to face Dream. The word here hangs with a heavy lift, as if he'd meant to say, what brought me, who pulled me, was it you? In his large brown eyes, Dream can see the faded reflection of his sloppy black and white smile.
What?
Ah?
I know why I'm here,
Dream says carefully.
but I don't know why you're here.
A brief rustling of leaves and twigs behind them causes him to tense again.
It's dangerous here, George. We should go.
Why? Don't you want to stay in this memory? Dream ignores the comment and lightly wraps his arm around his shoulders to help him up. George doesn't try to stand. He keeps him rooted to the white shore with a confused frown. Nothing is going to hurt us when I'm here, he says. Dream feels his face grow hot.
Knock it off. This is serious.
George looks at him earnestly. I'm being serious. This feels really intimate.
Wait till they start fucking.
Yeah. Now his arm is draped protectively over George's small frame. Yeah, I'm so small. Dream becomes extremely aware of how close they are. He can sense George's body heat. Watch his chest rise and fall, see the goosebumps on his neck. Dream's heart begins to pound. For how long has he wanted to meet him, to hear his voice in person? The fear inside him slowly begins to ebb away into fondness. The moon jellies rapidly multiply until the lagoon is dappled blue and gleaming. George grins. I told you it's pretty.
Because of you.
Dream says warmly, even though George rolls his eyes. He means it. They laugh lightly at each other. Glowing water and gentle sparks blooming as the moment passes. George's gaze lingers on Dream for a few heartbeats. Before letting go of his axe, he raises his hand to reach for the ceramic mask. Wait, pull it down. It's supposed to cover you.
Okay. Well, I can't read. Yeah, I can't even see that. Okay, tell me if I have a cue.
Okay. Dream freezes, his eyes follow the motion. His hood falls when George runs his fingers gently through his wavy hair. He can't remember the last time he let someone do this. It feels intimate. It feels terrifying. His eyes shut when George finds the metal clasp on the back of his head. He exhales when he feels the weight of the mask drop from his face. Pull it up, or I will.
Or I will.
The breeze is cold on his cheeks. He can smell the nearby salt water. He opens his eyes and sees twice
I'm trying
as
to
many
find out where I am.
stars as usual.
Okay.
What's your cue?
How did you do that? I've never...
He looks at George, who is smiling softly. I know honesty is important to you, George says. His hand moves gently to touch Dream's cheekbone. Dream reaches and delicately takes George's hand in his, slender knuckles and fingers sliding together in timid grace. He feels alive. He leans closer, studying George's eyes until he slips down further to his soft lips. His breath is trembling.
Look in. Okay. And what if I kissed you right now?
He murmurs, heart racing.
How honest would that be?
George's eyes grow wide. Dream, he stammers, giving Dream exactly what he needs to let go. Their movements happen nearly all at once, the inclining of George's jaw, the slide of Dream's hand into his hair, the connection of their lips. Wait, okay.
Keep going.
Because it's raw
Raw
with
with
emotion and gentle. Hot embers rise from Dream's chest to heat his face. The soft presence of George's mouth against his own is surreal, as their senses collectively slip away into the dreamland. His hand rises to softly cup George's jaw. He pulls his face closer, breath hot, heart scuttering. Nervous energy quickly ebbs into a strong hearth of longing. As he kisses George again and again and again, George emits a soft noise that makes Dream melt.
That was not hot.
You can feel George's hands in his hair, then on his neck, then on his chest. Dream pulls away to capture brief puffs of air. His chest rises and falls rapidly as he looks at George's, flushed cheeks and mouth kissed red. Because of him. A low feeling stirs in the space just below his ribcage. Your stomach?
Your tummy?
The first flickering of a dangerously hot flame, all of it, of George. Just for him. Dream parts his lips to say something, anything, and promptly wakes up.
They already kissed in their dream world.
Continue reading. Hello.
Yep. You know us. Continue. It'll load. I think.
Eventually. So I keep slipping in and out of British and not, because it's hard to switch to British whenever I'm in the middle of narrating in American. Chapter 2, Checkmate.
Checkmate.
The grip Dream has locked into his dirty blonde hair is barbaric enough to rip out the roots.
We should have got wigs.
Oh, we should have. Sweat stains drench his collar and lower back, turning his gray shirt a dark black. His chest heaves uneasily. The harsh morning light tears through the blinds with the promise of returning the temperature from yesterday. Sitting up in bed, elbows on his knees, he stares hollow-eyed at the opposite wall. What the fuck was that dream? He isn't sure how long he's been petrified into this state. The thought of George's lips and his smile and his sounds overwhelmingly on loop. The fury of panic and confusion flashed behind his eyes nearly all at once. What was George doing in his nightmare? Why did it make him feel so safe and warm and wanted? Why, good God, did he kiss him? He can feel the liberation still coursing through his blood, heart pounding, skin tingling where George's hands had been. The heat trickles down his back. He hadn't experienced a dream of that caliber in a very long time. To be touched and kissed, to feel the deep embrace of lust that leaves a firm afterthought in his boxers. Boner! Yet guilt undermines the euphoria he feels. His teasing with George is fun and lighthearted, but having an erotic fantasy with his subconscious projection of his best friend is crossing a line.
Been there, done that.
Huh? He slowly lets go of his hair. The glaring sunlight lays slices of heat across his shoulders, and he can hear faint chirps of birds outside his window. A small nest had been forming for the past week in the nearby rain gutter. He'd caught glimpses of them before, blue-feathered and spry creatures. Satnap had teased him when he learned Dream spent several hours researching their species, the purple martin. Normally, the birds start fussing early in the morning. He checks the time, 8:05 a.m.
Disgusting,
he says. He looks at the towel hanging on the back of his door and sighs. A cold shower could refresh his muddled brain and rinse off the thin layer of sweat. Once in the bathroom, he reluctantly opens his phone. His text chain with George is still waiting patiently on the screen. Maybe that's why he showed up. Dream bargains. The last person I thought of before going to sleep. His thumb hovers over the song recommendation for a moment, then presses play before he steps into the shower. Steams of icy water ran down his chest, shocking his skin. His ribs tense, and he resists the urge to shiver. He thinks of his mask lying in the cold sand. He thinks of George's breath on his face. He deserves a miserable shower or two. He attempts to relax into the water as it slowly becomes a refreshing wash. The soft soap lifts the feeling of grime that had settled on his body. His stink finally down the drain.
Girl, he's stupid.
A breath of contentment escapes him. He's grateful to have cold water in the absence of working air conditioner. Maybe the weather behaved like a fever dream, giving him outlandish thoughts that now fade away with each scrub. Clean hair, clean pits, clean mind, right? The muffled music begins to grow louder from beyond the clear curtain. Roads shimmer, wiggling the vision. He waves. I'm swimming in a mirror. He closes his eyes. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. He always been faking me out. Can't make me happy. Can't make you happier now. His eyes fly open. The lyrics crawl into his chest. Bassline tangling with his heartbeat. Warmth floods his face despite the goosebumps on his skin. I just want to know what you're dreaming of when you sleep and smile so comfortable. His trembling hand reaches for the shower knob. I just wish that I could give you that look that's perfectly inside.
Why are you low-key trying?
His mind is flooded with memories of George's smile. The water shuts off with a terrible squeak as suds still slide down his skin. He lets the rest of the song play out as he slumps down in his towel to the bathroom floor. Wet droplets cling to his hair. The past 2 months he'd been living in a haze, routinely gaming and eating and sleeping without much else to make him feel awake. After repeating the same days over and over again, new interests and emotions were few and far between. Yet here he is, stunned by George's recommendation. The last notes of the song gently transition into stark silence, their vibrations fading from Dream's hollowed-out soul. He hasn't felt a deep, meaningful connection to music like this in a long time. He hasn't felt a connection to a person like this in a long time. He scowls, quickly grabbing his phone and heading to his room. Sour collections of frustration and shame turn in his stomach. Nothing has changed besides him finding a new anxiety that unnecessarily wrapped his head into knots over. Sometimes he feels that his mind will grab onto any spike in emotion and play with it just to keep him busy. Not this time. Not with George. Perhaps it will be best if he keeps his distance until his brain tires itself out. His phone vibrates while he's getting dressed. Hop on, Froggy. Savannahnot texted.
Y'all made him so dorky. Bruh.
Low-key accurate. I don't know.
How did you know I was up?
Dream types back.
Also, why are you awake?
He sits down at his desk while Savannahnot's bubble reappears. George wants to test stuff out before he streams later. You never miss that. Dream is beginning to grow irritated with his friends for no discernible reason. He puts on his headphones and waits for his computer to hum to life. He drums his fingers on the mouse. A strange feeling tightens in his chest when his screen lights up and the Discord window appears. It takes him a moment to realize he's nervous. He's never been anxious about joining a call before. He glances at the names under the voice channel. It's only Savannahnot, Bad, and George.
You have to give. What are you doing for Bad?
Dream, hi!
Or,
Dream, hi!
That's really.
Dream, hi! Dream!
Do the stitch.
oh, huh. Dream, hi!
That's good.
Bad greets happily once he's connected. That was fast, Savannahnot says. Dream's voice is flat when he replies.
Hey.
Hello, George says. Is your heat wave any better today? His question is met with silence. Dream? Dream feels his words die in his throat at the sound of George's voice. He really doesn't want to talk about the weather. Dream? Hello? Bad says, exaggerating his vowels.
It's fine.
Dream watches their icons lose the green ring after catching the tone of his voice. He rubs a hand over his face. This isn't how he wanted to start the call.
Sorry, guys. I'm just a little tired.
No worries, George says, but he sounds cautious. We're on the test server if you want to join. Savannahnot and I are going to try out the chessboard. I think I've got the coding down, but you always find something I've missed. Dream hesitates, a small smile forming on his features.
You're finally doing the chess stream? Sure.
He opens Minecraft. Might have been a bad idea, but let him play, Bad says. Dream joins the server and bounds over to where they're huddled in an open field. Beyond them is a large chessboard. The piece is several stories high, made out of dark oak and birch.
Who's saying this?
You.
Me? Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, George normally beats me.
Savannahnot laughs. That might be the first time you've admitted that George is better than you at something. That's not true, George says. Dream is honest with me. All the air in Dream's lungs rushes out in one breath. I know honesty is important to you. George's teasing voice echoes in his mind. He remembers how it felt to kiss him, to touch him. How honest would that be? He glances at George's avatar with his stupid little glasses. His fucking stupid little glasses.
Like, bitch, I'm the one in the mask. Like,
how they'd held the whole night sky to him when sitting on that beach. Is it fair always ask for honesty from everyone else while not being transparent himself? George isn't entitled to know what he dreams about, but keeping it from him feels wrong. Then again, keeping most things from George tends to feel that way. Most. But he still hasn't given you face real, Sapnap says, voice proud. You're so smug. George hits Sapnap's character. Can't wait to beat you later. He pauses while Bad Boy Halo tosses several flowers on the ground and hops in place. I'm not gonna force Dream to do anything. Thought I'm waiting for. Wait, is that George? It is. I'm not gonna force Dream to do anything. Though I am waiting for the day I open Snapchat he sent me. I open a Snapchat he sent me and it's of his face. Dream laughs nervously.
I'm too pretty. I'd break George's mind.
Oh, please, George says. Didn't we learn from my stream yesterday that it's the other way around? Dream's heart skips.
Yes.
He mumbles. He hears laughter in the call. And clears his throat so that he can fine-tune his joking tone. He can't afford to slip up. He says,
George, you are beautiful.
Oh my god, you're annoying. Dream grins.
You can dish it all you want, but the second I turn it around...
Yeah, that's so true. Sapnap says. George gets so uncomfortable. I don't, George says, sounding uncomfortable.
You do. It's okay.
Dream says. He feels pinpricks of warmth in his chest. The words rise up faster than he can temper, laced with soft honey.
You're so cute.
The call falls silent. They heard it. The affection in the tone of his voice, different than usual. No trace of humor. The way it came from the hearth below his heart.
The what?
The hearth.
The her?
Glowing with secrecy and shame for George and George only. They had to have heard it. He doesn't move. I should really start muting you, George says. He sounds normal. Embarrassed, but normal. He didn't hear it. Dream tilts his head back against the chair in relief. Right. So, should we try to use this thing? Sapnap says. Dream feels a singe of embarrassment. It's likely that Sapnap can read the inflections of his voice better than anyone from many years of listening. And Dream expects to receive a confused message in its inbox at any moment. He waits, and nothing comes. Damn. They mess around on the server for a while, shifting pieces and testing out the take system, which involves explosions. Okay.
Right.
Dream lets himself sink into the comforting familiarity of days like these. He discusses a few strategies with George, comparing skill, and plays one game against Bad, where he narrowly wins. He can't catch any mistakes George has made in his coding. It is perfect. Dream is surprised when it gives him a wave of admiration. Watching his friends grow and change as the years go by is a humbling and exciting experience. Seeing them mature, learn, lose, and keep moving forward. Okay, you're not all that, boy.
Like, calm down. You're not their son.
He didn't know when he started seeing himself as older than George, but every once in a while he is reminded of the truth.
Are they old? Who's?
George is older.
Oh, then what the fuck is Dream
He was like
about?
24 and Dream was like 22 or 21.
How old is Dream now?
Oh, I don't know. 40?
Age, like it looks wise. Sorry, I'm Dream.
Bro, yeah. Eventually, Bad disconnects from the call and Dream leaves the server to catch the beginning of George's stream. Hey guys, hi, George says, a large smile on his face.
He's always saying hi.
Welcome to the stream! Today we're going to... As he continues to speak, Dream's eyes are drawn to the corner where George's face beams happily. He takes in the curve of his mouth. His high cheekbones, his eyes. George looked surreal in the moonlight, like it glowed from within him, and shined through his skin and voice. Dream reaches his hand up to his own, and traces over his lip gently where George had kissed him. He flushes immediately, clutching his hand and dropping it into his lap. Way too far. He keeps his fingers curled tautly against his palm at the game. As the game continues, eyes darting between the board to George's face with enough restlessness to rise him from his chair.
I'm gonna go make some food,
he says, and Sapnap groans. Ugh! Right when I need you the most! Dream glances at the game, seeing Sapnap is hurting and George is up several pieces.
You'll be fine.
He pulls his wireless headphones down to his neck and heads downstairs to the kitchen where he opens the fridge. He lowers his head for a blast of cool air to greet his face. The breeze slips over his brows and down his throat. He hums happily.
Mm-hmm.
He sets a few items on the counter to make a breakfast sandwich and feels a soft rub against his calf.
Oh, I don't like when this is happening.
He looks down to see Patches peering up at him.
Hi there, little girl.
He says sweetly.
Are you hungry? Let me get you some breakfast.
Aww. George's face comes quietly from his headphones, and he half tugs them back on. Dream, you're not muted. He rolls his eyes.
I don't care. Kitty says hi.
He pours her some food and fills her water, then goes back to his meal. He cracks the eggs into a pan, listening to them sizzle with satisfaction. The smell is nice. Patches takes a break from her bowl to mule. To mute?
She's mewing?
Hold up. Patches looks-maxing?
Look-maxing?
In curiosity, he can hear Sapnap and George talking faintly. He smiles to himself, then pulls out his phone and sends a snap of his meal to George. Ooh, Dream sent me something, George says. Chat, what do you think it is? I don't think that's a good idea to ask, Sapnap says it, and after a pause, starts laughing. Yeah, exactly.
What is it?
Sorry, I forgot to laugh. Had to add in the laugh a little bit.
What are they saying?
Dream asks towards Mike in his headset, muttering a small
Ow.
while moving his hot sandwich from the skillet to his plate. Feet pics mostly, George replies. Mostly, Sapnap says. Oh no, people are getting angry with each other. Guys, it's fine. Here, let me see what it is, George says, and Dream watches as the delivered sign changes to open. It was a photo of the sandwich, but Dream added a text that read, Bet you wished it was my face, didn't you? He's flooded with anticipation. Instead of the humored confidence he normally feels, his pulse raises. Maybe he shouldn't have sent that. George is blushing! Sapnap calls, cackling. Dream's heart soars. I'm not! You're so dumb, George says. It was just his breakfast chat. Calm down. Alright, Sapnap, can you go already?
Damn,
Dream thinks that'll be the last of it. George often leaves them on red anyway, but when he's carrying his plate of food out of the kitchen, he gets a notification. Goog is typing. He waits. The typing stops and starts again. The sandwich looks good, but I bet you look better. George texts. Dream's eyes widen, and he nearly drops his plate. He yanks the mic on his headset to close his mouth. George! He yells. George's laugh is quiet, but still adds to the pink blooming on Dream's face. He can only imagine what the chat must think. What? Stop texting Dream, okay? We have a serious game going on.
He mad as fuck.
Sapnap says. Dream can't help rereading the text over and over again while he goes back to his room. He keeps the door open slightly in case Patches wants to slip in and say hi. George doesn't compliment him much, and avoids making comments that Dream considers forward behavior. The reciprocation brings a feeling of satisfaction and nervous embarrassment. Does George really think that, even without knowing what he looks like?
Girl, he was joking.
Yeah, come on. Come on.
You gotta chill.
Dream tries to ignore the low warmth it gives him, little webs stretching out in his mind, connecting his emotions to George's friendship to his dream. He wants nothing more than to bat them away and break the ties altogether. He munches on his food remorselessly. Oh my god, no! Sapnap says, I didn't see that. What the hell, George? Dream looks at the screen, sitting down in his chair. In the time he'd been gone, George set up a fork and recently exploded a rook Sapnap was using to try and break the castle defense.
We got some Minecraft lore going on? Like, come on.
Chess lore too. Additional pressure is on Sapnap's queen, possibly a take in the next move, which Dream is sure Sapnap sees. George, don't do it, come on. I can see you hovering around your bishop. Move the pawn instead, please, Sapnap says. Dream, help me! He
What am I
laughs.
supposed to do?
Distract George, I don't know. George rolls his eyes. He seems confident and bright and happy. Dream remembers seeing that look up close, feeling his friend's presence next to him. It hits him all of a sudden how badly he wants to meet him, in person. The thought alone makes him lightheaded. Do something! Sapnap pleads. George scoffs, beginning to move his bishop across the board. That's not going to work.
I had a dream about you.
Dream blurts.
Haley's gonna tell you the truth.
Face is getting really red.
I'm in love with Hamza!
George's eyes widen and his head turns sharply to look at the Discord window, letting go of the pieces in the wrong square before taking Sapnap's queen. Yes! Yes! Sapnap screams. You already placed it! You placed it! You what? George's face is complicated by confusion and surprise. Dream's head falls into his hands. Why?
You were in my dream last night.
He says slowly through his teeth. Sapnap laughs, exploding the misplaced piece of his queen. Oh god, that was perfect. Thank you. George's attention is brought back to the game, and he groans. I don't think we should count that. That's cheating. It's so not, Sapnap says, happily. A cheap trick, shame on both of you, George complains. Oh my god, chat is freaking out right now. He clears his throat, awkwardly. They want to know what the dream was. Dream's face burns. It is time for some gentle damage control.
You were in Florida,
He says, keeping his voice even.
and it was cold. I normally have a recurring, dream about the beach we were at, but you showed up instead. You had your goggles on.
Oh, George says. He pauses briefly. Well, did I have a weapon? Dream lifts his head quizzically.
Yes, actually. An axe.
Metal. Savannahnot says.
He wants to be part of it so bad.
It's a weird thing people tell me. Whenever I'm in the dreams, I'm always holding a weapon or something. I can't do British all the time, guys, okay?
That's okay.
George clarifies. That's actually facts. Set of inputs. I once had a dream we went to England and George greeted us at the airport with a bow and arrow.
Bruh. Bruh. What?
Dream begins to laugh.
A ridiculous coincidence.
George giggles. I like to think it's because I'm so threatening. Dream wheezes.
Oh wait, where are we at?
Dream wheezes.
More like you need to be protected.
He says, "Are you kidding me? You are watching the same game as us, right?" George voices with acute confidence. Dream watches the stream with a smile, completely lost on how he managed to escape that conversation. He'd been surprised by George's immediate reaction and feels a faint flicker of hope. Hope? Hope for what? He wipes that look off his face. Nothing, he assures himself. He hopes for nothing. George has a valid point, though. He is, in short, defeating Savannahnot by a landslide. They continue playing, George winning the first 3 games and barely losing the 4th, where Dream and Savannahnot combine forces to try and take him down. As time passes by, the clock slowly shifts from early morning to mid-noon, the hottest part of the day. Dream doesn't notice at first when the air around him grows stagnant, and sweat begins to lightly ghost his upper lip. He unknowingly drains his water bottle, and it isn't until he wipes his clammy hand on his shirt absently that he realizes.
I drained my water. Oh my god.
He says. George and Savannahnot both ask him what happened. What happened? What happened?
Back.
He whines, slumping in his chair in defeat.
So ignorant. I thought I was safe.
Sounds like it's hot again. Savannahnot says, "Sorry, dude."
I might cry.
Dream fiends. Fiend. So it really is a heat wave, George says. I was just kidding about it earlier.
And she doesn't have to mention it every 5 minutes.
I hope I didn't cuss you. Dream tries not to look at the small smile on his face, to think of how the song numbed his mind and cut him open.
That was a good song.
He mutters. George says nothing, and they carry on. Eventually, the stream ends, and Savannahnot tells them he's going back to sleep, exhausted from carrying so many losses in a row. Once he leaves the call, they are alone.
What happened last time we were alone?
With no other tabs open on his computer, Dream stares at his keyboard as the room slowly turns into a swamp. George is being rather quiet. Okay, I don't know what happens because I don't remember, but I'm going to say right now, it would be awesome if Dream just turned on his camera.
That'd be sick, but I don't think he does.
I don't think he does either, but I wish.
So weird. Like, if you're friends with someone for that long, just show him your damn face.
Yeah, for real. And also, you want him bad. What if he thinks you're ugly?
Exactly. Then you have no chances.
Yeah. George is being rather quiet, like he often is after streaming for a while. Dream thinks he's become burnt out by talking so much, but it's secretly his favorite time to be on a call with him. George is a little tired, so he speaks softer and more contemplative than usual. I don't know why I said normal. There was
Go with it, bruh.
Dream finds it very comforting. It's a space where most of their profound conversations have come from so far. The chap kept trying to make me ask you about your dream, George says, breaking the silence. I feel like that's going to be clipped everywhere.
There's not much else to know.
Dream lies. I kissed you.
Nothing really happened.
I wanted you. He can hear George start and stop typing on his keyboard, and then nothing. Is George idly sitting there, staring at his computer too? You mentioned that. I showed up instead, George says.
What?
You said I showed up instead in the reoccurring dream. George pauses. He's speaking carefully. Instead of who?
Oh.
Dream says. He wraps his arms around himself subconsciously despite the heat.
Well, me. Instead of me.
You? But I thought you were already there. Dream feels his chest grow tight.
Yeah, there's normally 2 of me.
The seconds of silence that follow terrify him. He hears George inhale, then speak very softly. What kind of dream is it normally, Clay?
Oh! They fucking...
He closes his eyes at the sound of his name coming from George's mouth. It is rare, like he only saves it for the moments when Dream feels the most vulnerable.
A nightmare.
Oh my god, I forgot about... There's Dream and then Evil Dream, who's Nightmare in the lore. I forgot about that.
Okay.
He mutters, pinching his eyebrows together.
I've been having it for so long I've memorized every second of it. I wake up on the beach in the middle of the night, a lagoon with the edge of the forest, about 20 feet behind me. I always have my mask on and I can't see very well. At the trees, shadows come. Me, another me, except his mask is covered in blood. He gives me a few seconds and then...
His voice dies. He's never told anyone about his nightmares before. Then what? George asks. Dream grips his arms tightly, fingernails digging into his skin.
I run. As fast as I can, but it's never fast enough. You know, dream logic.
He pauses, letting himself take a breath.
We fight. We always fight. Sometimes he stabs me, sometimes we drown. Sometimes I don't run. I just stand there and let him get me.
Do you ever win? George's voice is serious and low.
Every once in a while. But then the next time I'm back there, I'm on the edge of the woods, seeing myself by the water. It's fucked up.
He hates those nights the most, because he understands the fear of being chased. Sitting on the sand, waiting for the slightest quiver in the leaves to start sprinting. Heart in his ears and terror on his tongue. Yet there's a oh my god! A frenetic burning he feels standing in the woods with a weapon in hand. A sense of raw duty. Urgency, survival. It's as if only one of them is supposed to exist in that space, and he's never been able to figure out who. Why do you think I was there? George asks. Why are we here? His memories echo.
I don't know, honestly.
Dream says.
It took me by surprise, but when you were there, it wasn't a nightmare anymore.
He prays he won't have to explain any further. I'm not sure what to say to that, George admits. Dream winces, forever fearing that he's gone too far, until he adds, I kind of feel like it was a compliment. His hands gently let go of his arms.
It was.
Okay, George says, the smile in his voice audible. Dream finds himself starting to grin too, as the quiet space between them grows warm. The dust suspending in the hot air floats idly by. His empty plate radiates a faint smell of bread and eggs. And he reclines into the comfort of his chair. Not speaking for long moments on call tends to make Dream anxious, and it is only when he and George are alone that he finds solace in it. He wonders if the feeling passes through his microphone and permeates George's world too. He wonders if they really could be connected in the way that both frightens and calms him. You know, George says finally, you once in a dream I had too.
Wait a minute, what?
Hold up.
What the hell?
Why am I low-key hooked?
Me too. Like, I literally can't stop reading this video. It's just gonna be us like, what? Oh my god.
He did that?
Really?
Dream leans forward in his chair, a confident smile creeping onto his face.
What was it about?
I can hear your ego inflating right now.
No, you can't.
Dream defends quickly. Perhaps midnight visits from platonic friends is a universal experience. Sometimes said he's dreamt about them too, anyway. He can't help letting himself feel it. Relief, is it? Relief that George was thinking of him? For a moment, as a heat as strong as burning coals begins to smoke inside his skull, he has to know what George's dream was about. Why hadn't he told him about it before? He recoils from the ferocity of his own thoughts. Yes, I can. I think you owe me some kindness for how you treated me on my stream today. George says, voice touched by a playful twinge that Dream knows so well.
I owe you something?
Dream gently stokes the embers.
What exactly do you want with me then?
For you to be nice. Chill. George laughs, but sounds nervous. Freak.
Damn!
Dream's heart races.
You love me.
He
Come on,
mutters.
you know.
Stop being weird, George says. This is exactly why I never told you about it.
Well, you dreamt about me first.
What? You're so hypocritical. Oh my god, never mind, Dream.
George, no.
Dream says, trying to regain a serious tone despite being deeply amused by their turn of conversation.
I didn't mean to upset you, I promise.
George definitely doesn't buy it. You know, I think I won't tell you. That's a much better punishment for what you being mean to me.
Oh, a punishment.
Dream repeats, unable to stop himself from laughing again. George groans. That's it. Have the nice rest of your day. I can't deal with you anymore.
Wait, no.
Dream is cut off by George disconnecting from their call. He raises a hand over his mouth. He wants to fight it off his grin, but flutters in his stomach. The need to hear George's voice again, but can't. His cheeks are warm and flushed red. He feels himself slipping deeper into the place that keeps calling his name. It feels something like desire. It feels something like a challenge. It feels so familiar. Shame sidesteps his rising happiness. He's bound to be taking advantage of George to a minor degree, withholding the truth from him and skating by with loose humor. His remarks used to come absently from his mouth, a way to make George complain or smile. Now he's taunted by the flurries of emotions and thoughts that come after. The line between a joke and a confession becoming obscurely blurred. It isn't fair, is it? He checks the temperature on his phone, 102 degrees. He groans.
Damn, that is hot, though.
Yeah. Clicking on Twitter, he begins typing slowly. Never underestimate the power of a heat wave. He tweets.
You stole my line.
Sorry. It's different because it's like not in quotations, so I just
Yeah.
read it. Wait, can you feel right here real quick?
Yeah, it's wet. That's why I didn't link it down.
He scrolls for a few minutes, liking and replying to followers. He catches a few of his tagged tweets that are about their chaotic chess game. Many viewers questioning why George would have made such a simple mistake during an intense match. He responds to one with a,
I've been wondering that too.
he suddenly gets an influx of likes and mentions. @GeorgeNewFound has replied to your tweet. He clicks on it. Petition to keep Dream's AC broken for good. It reads, he votes no. He types out a response but hesitates upon rereading. Perhaps it is better suited for a Snapchat instead.
So you want to keep me sweaty?
He texts. He watches George's icon appear, lurk, then type yes. Dream stares at his phone. Maybe it went over George's head. I like you better that way. George adds. His stomach drops and he immediately shuts off his phone.
What?
He says running Xanther is here.
What?
His phone rattles against the dark desk. Sam has texted him. He doesn't bother picking it up. It was a joke. He pulls the fabric of his shirt away from his damp chest, leaning back in his chair. If anything wasn't fair, it was this. He can throw as many sleazy lines at George as he wants, with or without intent to kill. But the low feeling stirring in his stomach, the burning in his face, his mind rewiring for the 14th time today, all because George happens to toss back. He leaves the room. Unfair. He drinks 4 glasses of water in 2 minutes.
Damn,
Cruel.
I can't do that, you guys.
Me either.
I'm not doing that. No.
He settles to watch a movie on his couch, spending most of it fighting the urge to go back to his room and grab his phone. Downright criminal. When the credits roll and the bright screen turns to black, he locks eyes with his reflection. He's silhouetted in the dim room, but can vaguely make out the fluff of his hair, the slope of his shoulders, patches is curled up gently at his side.
Let's pause. There's no fluff in that hair.
Yeah. Nah, there's grease. Is this what he looked like when George dreamt of him? A hollowed shape on a monotone screen? In his dreams, George was everything to him. He wonders how much he'd pale in comparison if they were side by side in this moment. George would make his couch look even dingier than normal, and his laugh would light up the room. They could be sitting and talking or watching television, and Dream wouldn't be able to take his eyes away. He could forget about the heat, sit closer, make him blush, pull him in. He abruptly rises, startling Patches.
You don't need to be the cat.
He feels the relentless urge to release his anger and disharmony overwhelming. No matter what he does, his thoughts drag him back there. The beach, warm hands pinned in the sand, where he'd made out with his friend, his best friend, and loved every
Did they cut that dream
tantalizing-
off quick? Because we didn't get no hands pinned. We didn't pin no hands.
Oh, we're missing some details here. Dreamy dream,
You want
Clay.
to keep us in? We can't do roleplay if we don't
Come
know.
on, y'all. I didn't know we were pinning. We were pinning each other down.
I would have done it.
What?
Let's keep reading.
And loved every oh my god, something's wrong with me. Tantalizing second of touching his skin and feeling him tremble. He's furious at this. Wait, hold on, touch me real quick.
Bruh.
Like that one clip of Terry Joe where she's like, and the guy goes, yes, come.
Yes, come.
I know what you're talking about.
What the?
He's furious at his own mind as much as he's addicted to the idea of returning to it. He takes in a deep breath. He thinks of the many nights he'd seen himself, masked, bloodied, chest heaving by the shore. To confront himself head on is the only healing he knows. I don't want to just go back. He lets the thought surface and exhales slowly. I want to kiss him here and now.
So fucking stupid.
He mutters, but the admission alone was enough to settle his heart. Patches sits in front of his feet and meows. Meow! He bends down to scratch her head, and she follows him on the way back to his bedroom. When he picks up his phone, a few hours worth.
You did like the fat cat.
Yeah, like-
way.
The happy has. A few hours worth of notifications blink on his home screen.
Okay.
What'd I do? Maybe we should talk about some stuff soon. Savanna had texted. He ignores it. Similarly, George hasn't said anything since Dream left him unopened. Left him unopened, bruh! He's being bold.
Okay. Teasing.
He switches to their iMessages and clicks on the link to the song from the previous thread without much forethought. Hi, he texts George.
Stop!
Oh, sorry.
Hi.
He texts George. He shuffles to grab his headphones. Hello, George responds almost immediately. Dream presses the play, types.
I missed you.
He momentarily questions his choices again. I thought you were taking a nap or something, George says. He reins himself back from making another nightmare or kissing his best friend related joke.
I was watching a bird documentary.
He sends instead, keeping it civil. His headphones begin whispering a soft melody. He watches George pause before responding with, that's cute.
Come on, George.
He breathes. He'd just gotten over the last heart attack he was given.
It was actually pretty cool.
He replies, now stubbornly keeping it civil. Was it another evolution of Parrots movie? George asks.
Did he get on,
He's touched by the knowledge that George cares enough to remember such small tokens of him.
Maybe.
He texts.
What about you? What are you up to?
The music swells in his ears, and he takes in a deep breath of contentment as he reads George's next message. Nothing really. Thinking about hopping on since bad is streaming. Are you gonna join? He glances at his sleeping monitor. Computer so far away. Bed cold, chair hot. Oh, you said that. Guys, please start putting quotation marks because the narrator can't tell the difference. Thank you.
She's working overtime. Okay. Computer so far away. Bed cold, chair hot.
He says. The 3 dots signifying George's typing appear, then disappear. Red at 9:07 p.m. Dream waits, resting his phone on his chest as a minute passes. His eyes shut as the lyrics eerily mimic in his own descent. Usually I put something on TV. So we never... No, I had to sing the song in my head again. Usually I put something on TV, so we never think about you and me. But today I see our reflections clearly in Hollywood laying on the screen. The song is cut off by his ringtone blasting his ears as his phone vibrates against his ribcage incessantly. His eyes fly open as he's shaken from the trance glass animals lured him to. Did they use this as promo? Because they should have.
For real.
George is calling him. Ring, ring, ring. He looks at the name, the contact picture, a cursed selfie George had taken, and the green and red buttons that would change the course of his carefully collected mood. Wait, he has an Android? Okay. He's calling him, not on Discord, or to make him play Minecraft, or to ask for his mother's cell. What? Dream picks up. Hello, George says again, his tone casual but soft. Dream's heart races.
Hi.
I figured this was easier than texting, George explains, and Dream's mind passes over each inflection of syllables in his endearing accent. He sounds closer than usual. Dream suddenly remembers the last time they'd been on a phone call. He'd hung up because the change in George's mic made him uncomfortable. He tries to not let himself overanalyze that memory.
Okay. Cool.
Why do you sound nervous? His cheeks redden.
I'm not. You interrupted my music, so I'm still adjusting to being back in the real world.
Oh, sorry. What were you listening to? Dream hesitates, wondering if he shouldn't disclose that information. He worries George will be able to tell how obsessed he is with the song. He sent him as a gag. He frowns. What is he thinking? George is as dense as a brick. Okay, damn. Okay,
Get him,
but you
that's
want
your
that
man.
brick. You want that brick.
Heat waves. I really like it.
Nice. Me too. George carries on.
I bet you do.
Though I do think you enjoying it while being a baby about your weather is ironic.
Isn't that because you have a thing for me being sweaty?
He jokes. It's all a bit overwhelming. George calling him out of nowhere, the strange intimacy of their exchanges, his strained filter breaking in under the pressure. George laughs. Oh yeah, definitely. My Twitter poll lost, by the way. I guess our followers don't want you to suffer as much as I do.
You're a dork.
Dream says fondly. Come on, singing that song was funny. You said it yourself. George teases. Dream can hear him chuckle on the other end. I remember when I first discovered it, I kept listening to it for like a... Wait, is that you or me?
That's you, babe.
Okay. I kept listening to it for like a week straight. Dream's throat tightens. Do the melodic words sink into George's skin the same way they consume his? Does he think about the song when he feels the lightest grace of sweat trickling down his back? When he's lying in bed, on the phone with his best friend, fighting back the urge to say,
I can't stop thinking about you.
What? Dream sits up immediately. Fuck. Did he say that out loud? Fuck.
I said I can't stop thinking about it too.
He lies quickly. His heart thumps erratically.
I don't normally find songs that I enjoy that much, so thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem, George says. Dream can't tell if he bought it or not. Terror drains the color from his face as silence isolates him in the imprisoning walls of his room. He's naturally run into this painful stoicism from George before, when he's made comments that land awkwardly, but he knows this one could be the worst yet. He prays George believes him.
So,
Dream says.
Are you gonna join Bad Stream?
Probably not. I don't really feel like getting up. He swallows. Wait, is that me or you?
This is me.
Okay.
R.
The children are.
Okay, enough. Okay. Are you in bed?
Yeah, George says slowly. Why?
Nothing. Just me too.
Dream glances at the pillows lying next to him, wondering if they both could fit on his mattress, or if he'd have to wrap his arms around George's waist and pull him into his chest. He winces. He thought he'd regained more control by accepting he non-platonically wants to kiss George, but is beginning to think it might be the opposite.
Can you do that? Don't think so. If you want to do it, I don't think it's...
He scorns. Heat waves has been faking me out.
Corny ass line.
Is it still hot there? George asks.
Yeah, I called someone to take a look at my AC and stuff, but I'm not too hopeful. It's only supposed to get hotter, and they might force a brownout.
Poop? He'll die if it comes to that. The last brownout Orlando had was a few summers prior, and he'd attempted to live without electricity for all of 12 hours before giving up and driving to a stifling 2 hours to his family's home. His sister had been delighted.
Sister mentioned?
I've never had one of those here, George muses. What's it like?
We haven't either. We don't even know what it is. Well, it's pretty miserable. Dark, terrible heat. I have to cook everything on the stove. I have a collection of candles, just in case.
And no Minecraft, George adds. Dream rolls his eyes.
Oh yeah, that too.
Why don't you just go to the beach to cool off? Dream laughs shortly.
I don't really like the beach. Remember?
The nightmares. Oh, George says quietly. Of course I do. Dream softens at the concern of his tone.
Hey, look, you really don't have to worry about all that stuff, I said. I can hear you frowning. It's fine.
George sighs. I don't know, Dream. That's a fairly disturbing experience to be numb to. His voice falters.
I know. But for the first time ever, I find myself wanting to return to it.
Why? George asks, exasperated. I thought it terrifies you.
It does.
Dream reclines back into his bed. Please don't push me, George. George pushes. Then why?
Because I want to see you again.
He says, words ghosting past his lips with the remembrance of moon jellies and soft sand. He rests a hand on his chest to feel his heart pound heavily against his palm. George pauses, his voice faint. Do you really mean that?
Yeah.
The blinds hanging in Dream's screen windows shift slightly, the hint of a breeze trickling into his stuffy room.
I've kind of realized how much I want to meet you.
I know what you mean, George says. I felt that after I dreamt about you. Dream stifles to sharp inhale. I don't know why I always mess up the word. He'd messed this up before, scared George away. He tries to calm his unsteady nerves, biting back anything that could damage the careful approach needed for his friend's Bambi-like demeanor.
Ew. Do you want to talk about it?
Dream asks, voice successfully mellow. George hums. Will you try to mess with me?
No, I promise.
He says earnestly. In the quiet moment that follows, he doesn't move. Alright. I had it about 3 months ago, so I don't remember everything clearly, just pieces here and there. The breeze in Dream's room gently picks up. It started with me in my car, I think waiting alongside the curb at the airport near my house. I parked and went into the baggage reclaim. I knew it was meant to pick up someone. I couldn't remember who, but it was completely empty. I was just standing there, until one carousel turned on, and a suitcase dropped onto it. I don't know how, but I knew it was bright green. When I went to pick it up, someone else grabbed it before me. George pauses. You grabbed it before me.
How did you know it was me?
Dream asks, unable to bring his voice above a murmur. I just knew, George says softly. You were tall and polite, but...
But?
Dream repeats, knowing what's coming. Your face, George speaks quietly. I couldn't see it.
Did I have the...
He can't finish. Yes, George says. From what you described to me, it looked the same. Dream's heart drops, falling silent. He feels forever haunted by that ghastly thing. Clay? George checks gently. It floods him again, the comfort of his name passing from George's lips, and the embarrassment that he can tell the slightest change in Dream's tone when he's feeling unsafe. He loves and hates the way that George's voice brings him home.
Keep going.
He grunts. Okay, George says, proceeding cautiously. We walked around the empty terminals for a while. I don't know why we didn't leave. We talked the whole time, and you sounded like yourself. I keep sounding Australian, just all close up, if that makes sense. It does. I was so happy to see you. George's sweet excitement is audible. I remember that the most, feeling so happy. At some point I told you that, and you hugged me. A small smile forms on Dream's face. He will definitely hold George tight for a frustratingly long period when they first meet. He wonders if George's head would fit under his chin, if he would smell the shampoo in his dark hair. Then I pulled your mask up, George stammers, voice taut. Just a little bit, enough to see your mouth. Dream blushes. He remembers the weight of his mask dropping from his face. His scalp begins to tingle where he'd imagined George stroking his hair. Why would George, in both dreams? And you, well, you, he breathes. You kissed my forehead. Dream freezes. He did what?
I did what?
That was it. I woke up, George says quickly. He huffs quickly, adding, "You're never gonna let me live this down."
Boy, just wait till you find out what I did to you.
Dream's chest swells with a torrent of emotions, pride, confusion, ambition. He presses his knuckles up to his burning cheek. George had a dream he kissed him. He had a dream he kissed him. What? He tries and fails to still his breathing. He hopes George can't hear the tremble in his voice. Floating above his body, he finds himself asking,
What was it like?
He hears George's breath hitch. "It felt safe," he whispers, "and warm, so warm."
Boy, y'all gay.
Dream screws his eyes shut, chest rising and falling rapidly. He wants to tell him everything, how George had touched his mask and his mind too, how he'd kissed his mouth and wanting to kiss him everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh, everywhere.
Everywhere. I want to kiss something too.
He knows he could. He'd even blame it on the slip of his unruly tongue. Yet there was a boundary he has to walk upon, teetering from side to side, never choosing to cross in fear of losing George. He knows he won't.
I'll put that on the list of things to do when I meet you for the first time.
He says. To his surprise, George laughs. The sound alleviates the tension in his muscles. Shut up. Dream smiles.
I'm serious.
No, you aren't, George says. I know you're not actually like that.
Damn, this is kind of diss.
Yeah.
You have no idea what I'm like in real life.
George scoffs. You're all talk. Dream raises his eyebrows.
Oh, really?
He opens his phone, navigates to Snapchat. This is the moment. Yeah, George says, confident. Dream takes a photo. Send to Goog. Wait, George says after a moment. What did you just send to me? Dream giggles.
Where am I at?
Right here.
Ha ha ha. Like,
Dream, the snap opens. What? It is hardly a selfie. A quick shot aimed close to Dream's face. It didn't show anything except part of his jawline, his neck, and tufts of hair sprawled on the pillow beneath his head. Okay, so you're mewing. Stop being a catfish. This? We're all real here. Yeah. Get that out of here. Dream can't stop laughing at George's silence, wheezing when he watches him replay the image. He knows where this fit is coming from. It's surreal that their conversation has made him feel such tidal waves of emotion so far. He is nervous and exhilarated, and starting to consider that maybe George is too. Maybe.
also, you didn't really send that much of anything.
Yeah, no, you sent a fucking like,
this much of your face.
bro, you should have done this.
Yeah, sure. I get those from her all the time.
Yeah. You get other things too.
Alright, read your line.
I hate you, George utters with a breathing warm that shuts Dream up immediately. You did the same thing to me already today. Wait, was that you or me?
That's you.
You sure?
I think so.
He remembers what he'd sent during the stream, the power it gave him. His voice dropped low. Why? Oh wait, you said that. You said that.
Whoa.
Why? Are you blushing again?
I'm getting excited. George's response is amorous. Do you want me to be? The air is taken from Dream's lungs. His eyes, wide open, pointlessly search his room to check he's still awake. George sounds just like he had on the beach, and it burns in Dream, red hot, as he swallows the euphoria whole. He grips onto his bed sheets. Patches stares at him with judgment. What the hell is going on?
Yes.
He professes, deciding to use George's words against him.
I like you better that way.
What are we doing? You're too much. George says winded. I think I should go to bed. Dream feels a pang. Pang. He fully expects to feel empty without George's soft voice in his ear, but sympathizes. In the duration of the call, he'd overheated to the point where he's concerned for the melting of his brain.
It was nice talking to you.
Dream says, though he's still catching up to their last 40 seconds. Yeah, you too, George rushes. Whatever. He hangs up. Dream wrenches his headphones off. He isn't sure what to make of it, of any of it.
Headphones on.
Guess I gotta accept the pain. Need a cigarette to make me feel better. The friendly flirting that slithers into his gut and coils warmly among the pooling torment he'd already been subjected to. He can easily convince himself that George is screwing with him, a revenge, so to speak, for the years Dream had spent irritating him. But there was something in his voice when he murmured soft replies that Dream desperately wants to believe was raw honesty. His face falls as he accepts the second terrible truth of the day. You should say that.
I want Dream to want me.
You want George to want you.
Oh, my bad.
Get it right. Damn.
I thought I was trying to order
One job.
DoorDash.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Cute. Read the line again. Your line?
His face falls as he accepts his second terrible truth of the day.
I want George to want me.
He can't bring himself to leave bed or to bother with distractions. All he can think about is carefully taking George's jaw in one hand, sliding onto his dark hair with the other, and pressing his lips gently against his forehead. He doesn't sleep at all that night.
The end. Comment if you want another one. And if you don't, we'll do it anyways.
Is this screen recorded?
No, I'll add it in later.
Okay. Well, then y'all can see it. Hopefully you're reading along. And we're on chapter 4. Chapter 4, keep that in mind. 'Cause
Next
I do
video,
wanna
a few
read the
videos down.
rest.
I do. I'm sorry. I'm invested.
Me too.
Are they gonna kiss? Or are they gonna get pinned down?
Oh my god, judge us all you want. Judge us all you want. Bitch, don't act like you weren't like this too. Bing bong. What? Do not share this to any CCs and any tags, donuts, or other sources. I will delete it.
We're sharing it! Take us down. You can't take all of us.
You can't take acid reflux down.
We'll fight.
I'm sweating so bad my legs are
Me
like
too.
wet, wet,
It's
wet,
really
wet.
nasty.
Heat wave. I feel like there's a heat wave in here.
Down there?
Everywhere. Anyways.
Bye!
I'm gay.